Starbucks has announced a new line of drink. This special Valentine's Day event will be going on all day long, but don't pause because animals are running out these doors. From a Dover Fort. Hi, I'm Julia O'Leary, and this is Living Local. Each week, I'll share a story about people and organizations making a difference in the community. Easter is right around the corner, and I stopped by a massive egg hunt. More than 2,000 kids were able to participate, and it was all free. Take a look. Fashion Bar had a sustainable fashion show for Earth Day. This was the first event in their week-long showcase. This company loves to recycle clothing and fabrics, but their approach to sustainability goes a step further. Let me show you what I mean. If you like dogs, if you have a dog, or if you just want to support dogs, then look no further. Bark is the Anti-Cruelty Society's biggest fundraiser of the year, and all dogs in attendance were spoiled accordingly. Thank you, Abby. I'm here at the new Loop Super site in downtown Chicago, where there has been a constant stream of voters on this election Tuesday. While there are many elections on the ballot, the mayoral election is predicted to enter a runoff. Max Bever from the Chicago Board of Elections tells us what that could look like. Starbucks has announced a new line of drinks that's about to have baristas asking, would you like olive oil in that? Yes, that's right. The brand's new experimental line will feature their favorite coffee blends with a spoonful of olive oil. It's set to launch in the United States this spring, but will be available in Italy this week.
Happy birthday, Portillo's!
Yesterday was Portillo's Day and our 60th anniversary, and it all started right here with the doghouse. Our former owner, Dick Portillo, he started this with $1,100, and we thought, hey, if it's our 60th anniversary, let's start it off with a big bang and go on tour with the original doghouse.
The tour began at this South Loop location and will be moving to 9 other restaurants throughout the city and suburbs. Portillo's lovers can win prizes, purchase limited edition merchandise, and of course, enjoy the food. For Portillo's #1 fan, seeing the original doghouse takes him back to his very first visit.
I ate at the original doghouse in 1964. Mr. Portillo himself was working the window. We got 2 hot dogs, a tamale, and a large Coke for $1 too. And I took $1 out of my wallet, I put it on the counter, and I'm digging in my pocket for the 2 pennies. And Mr. Portillo said, go on, you're a high school kid, I'll pay the tax. But it was just the kindness and the atmosphere. And that's what Portillo's is all about. So I walked up here, and I looked at the doghouse, and it brings back memories. Dear memories.
The 60th anniversary tour will run through June 8th. For Chicago This Week in South Loop, I'm Julia O'Leary. More than 800 people and 300 four-legged friends were celebrating outside Soldier Field on Saturday.
We are throwing the biggest dog party in Chicago. This is Bark. It is our massive festival and fundraiser for the Anti-Cruelty Society. So we invite everybody and their dogs here to celebrate.
It's called Bark for obvious reasons. And this event is all about the pups and the people who changed their lives with adoption.
There aren't many opportunities for so many people and dogs to gather together in celebration and in honor of the work that they do. You know, we're honoring the adopter this year, so we're celebrating all of the people who, from outside of the shelter, are giving these animals a life and a home that they've desperately needed. So we're just so thankful for everything they do, and we wanted to celebrate that today.
Many attendees found their furry best friend through adoption, like Jim and Pepper.
This is Pepper. She was adopted from Anti-Cruelty 5 years ago, and she's a good dog. I can't be happier with her.
With the Bark Place, ice baths, doggy painting, and treats galore, tails were wagging all afternoon. The event raised over $215,000, which means the Anti-Cruelty Society can continue providing care to animals until they find their forever homes. For Chicago This Week in South Loop, I'm Julia O'Leary.
You get a close-up, buddy?
Chicago's larger-than-life art installation, Art on the Mart, is back for its 5th year. The Mart, formerly known as the Merchandise Mart, was the largest building in the world when it opened in 1930. Now, it serves as a canvas for unique art exhibitions from internationally renowned artists like Derek Adams.
It's called Fun Time Unicorn. Ruby rides through 4 seasons, and it's an expression of Black joy, play, and love, and I think it's going to be a wonderful experience for all Chicagoans and visitors.
Adams told the crowd what inspired him.
It was inspired by my goddaughter, Ruby, and I kind of just went with that, and I felt like that was enough. And if you met her, you would know what I'm talking about.
Art on the Mart is excited for Adams, who's Baltimore-born and Brooklyn-based, to have his Chicago moment.
I think it's a point of pride. It's a place where people can convene at this confluence of the 3 branches of the Chicago River in front of the landmark, historic, iconic Mart. And I think it's a great way to unify people and catalyze dialogue around the most important issues of our time.
In keeping with community pride, the Mart will also project art from Chicago Public Schools seniors. This spring programming will run nightly through July 5th. Every spring, over 300 artists from all over North America travel to Chicago to attend One of a Kind at the Mart. The 3-day event features a curated mix of art, fashion, photography, jewelry, home goods, gourmet food, and much more. For 40 emerging artists who went through a competitive selection process, it's their first time here.
I knew I had to be at least 3-4 months ahead of time to sign up, so at least I have a chance to get into. So I did my best to be on time, and I was lucky enough to get in. So I'm really excited to be here and to show off my work.
For other artists, they've been coming to this event for years.
What this does for me is really introduces us to some amazing people, folks that are volunteering and believe in the mission of our organization.
And connecting these artists to an art-loving community is the goal of this event.
Some of my biggest collectors anywhere in the country are in Chicago. When they know that I'm here, they come here, but it also benefits other people, when you have that art-loving client. They're like, oh, I'm going to get a ring from Shamila, then I'm going to go to the gourmet market, I'm going to do this,
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
For Chicago This Week in River North, I'm Julia O'Leary. Hello, welcome to Chicago This Week. I'm Julia O'Leary. Thanks for tuning in. Chicago will be hosting the Democratic National Convention in 2024. The city has hosted 25 national conventions in total, and this will be the 12th for the DNC. This week, the Chicago Fire Department mourned the loss of 2 of their own who died in the line of duty. Lieutenant John Torek and firefighter Jermaine Pelt were laid to rest this week. We have live team coverage of that story. Kennedy Chase has details on how the department is finding comfort, but we begin with Raylan Lee, who's live with more on who these firefighters were. This is such a tragic week for the department. It's important for first responders to have access to mental health resources, especially in times of loss. Our Kennedy Chase explored a different kind of therapy that was provided at various fire stations across the city. Christians, Jews, and Muslims celebrated holy days this week. Easter, Passover, and Ramadan were all observed at the same time. Here's a look outside Holy Name Cathedral in downtown Chicago. Parishioners dressed in their Sunday best spent the morning attending Mass. Christians commemorate the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. Meanwhile, one area restaurant goes above and beyond to provide a traditional Passover experience for customers who can't celebrate at home. Here's Brenda Ordonez with more. For many people, the past week was more about the Easter bunny, Easter eggs, and Easter candy, but all that costs money. Hayes Owens introduces us to a mom who went above and beyond to make Easter special for her community. You've probably heard of the term food desert. It's an area that doesn't have access to nutritious and affordable food. It's a neighborhood where the closest grocery store requires a car, a bus, or a train to get to. Mia Bearden visited a pop-up aimed at fixing that problem. While parts of the city are tackling food insecurity, others are tackling food waste. According to the EPA, composting wasted food can significantly reduce methane emissions, eliminate the need for chemical fertilizers, and so much more. Demita Menezes shows us why Chicago is launching a composting pilot program. For the second year in a row, the Queer Art Party Market supported local artists by putting their work on display. The art show / party was a 2-day event, and our Ophelia Deng was there. How was it, Ophelia? I love this next story. It's visually so stunning. It's called Dinner with a View, and people get to enjoy a meal in the heart of the city inside a clear, warm, and cozy dome. Tell us about it, Jessica. I had a lot of fun covering this week's story in my Living Local segment. I love Portillo's, and I can't believe they've been around for 60 years. I got to celebrate this exciting milestone with Portillo's self-proclaimed #1 fan. Take a look. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Chicago This Week. That's all the time we have for today. We'll be back with more news, sports, and entertainment stories from around Chicago next week. We'll see you then. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.